Morning peeps, good morning everyone. We're back, obviously. I got back about 3 hours ago. It's good to be back as well. I needed that break, but now my batteries are fully charged and ready for the next couple of months. Busy couple of months as well. I got some good news from the zone. I don't know if I can share this, but hey, I'll be doing the GGG fight. I'll be doing that. So yeah, excited to do that. I'm a big fan of Golovkin and have been a big fan of his for years. So the idea of being the presenter for that fight card is quite exciting. So yeah, I'll find out 100% in the next couple of days. But yeah, they've reached out. They want me to do it, and I'm excited to do it. I do head up to Nottingham. I was going to go up this evening, but I'm going to go up first thing tomorrow morning for the Lee Wood Michael Conlan card. Really looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to the noise, the atmosphere. That's what it is for me. As much as, obviously, look, you want the fights, but I like sporting events which have sort of crazy atmospheres as well. And I feel like this one's going to be nuts. I really do. I can't wait to see the Irish, because where the Irish goes, I mean, an atmosphere travels with them. So yeah, looking forward to it. All right, let's get to it. Let's see what there is to talk about. A bit here about Oscar Valdez. Obviously, look, last time out against Robson Conceição, you guys might remember he had that infringement with VADA, and then it just kind of went all over the place to the point when, to be fair, he should have been stripped. He should have been, if you go back and sort of dig out the story, he should have been stripped. The fight shouldn't have gone ahead. It did. He kept his belt. And because of that, and to be fair, he might have lost the fight. I mean, there are some that think Robson Conceição beat him. I can't remember the fight properly in my head right now. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, and I might do that in the lead up to the Shakur Stevenson fight. But look, it was a bad few months for Oscar Valdez. He gets a chance to put all that behind him when he takes on Shakur Stevenson. Now, Shakur Stevenson obviously is the favourite to win, but this is no gimme. Like, none at all. Like, I would say it's a 60-40 fight, maybe even a 55-45. Like, no disrespect to the Jamel Herrings of the world, but Oscar Valdez isn't a Jamel Herring. Like, Jamel Herring coming right to the end. Oscar Valdez right now is hitting his peak. He might be just over his peak, but he's still there. He's an unbeaten fighter, good amateur, great boxer. Obviously, we know he's with a very, very good camp as well. I can't wait for it. I mean, there always will be that asterisk attached to his name. Always will be, just like there is with Canelo for me. I already have my feelings about Oscar Valdez anyway, so this doesn't help it, but I can't wait for that fight. It's an absolutely fantastic fight. I don't know if you guys saw the face-to-face they did. Shakur Stevenson, very, very confident, almost comes across as cocky, arrogant, but I don't mind a bit of that. I don't mind. You've got to believe in yourself. This is the hurt business. You've got to believe in yourself, so I don't mind it at all. But yeah, really looking forward to that. 2 world champions, both of them unbeaten. I love it. You know what has happened in the last sort of 48 hours, and I've not really spoken about it. I touched on it in my last video, but this Anthony Joshua, Joyce thing. Look, Anthony Joshua, and I did do a video about it, didn't I? About 3 weeks ago, saying he has to have an interim fight. Like, this is the perfect time to have one with what's going on with Alexander Usyk. You can't sit on the shelf. Let me look at AJ's last 4 years of activity, because I feel like AJ's only had 4 fights in 4 years. Could be wrong. So obviously Usyk last year, September. Before that, 1 fight in 2020, which was Pulev, and that was right at the end of 2020 in December. And then 2 fights against Andy Ruiz. So in 4 years, he's had the Povetkin fight in September 2018. Ruiz, Pulev, Usyk. It's not enough. It's not enough at all. Jesus Christ, man. That's not enough at all. Again, the last 3 years have been really bad. Really, really bad. So yeah, what he needs is activity. Like, AJ looks like, he comes across as the person that overtrains when I look at him, because every time I see clips of him, he's always in the gym doing something. And, you know, you don't want to get to a stage where you're leaving it in the gym. It's a phrase we hear a lot, right? Oh, he's left everything in the gym. No. You want to leave it in the ring. That's what AJ wants to do, leave it in the ring. So yeah, for me, it's the perfect time to have an interim fight. Now, look, there's been a number of different names being put forward. I heard Eddie Hearn mention Deontay Wilder. That's not going to happen. And it's good. All the fans are going to get excited, including myself. Deontay Wilder, AJ isn't going to happen. There's a lot of money on the table for it to happen. So, look, money's not going to be a problem. There could be as much money on the table for AJ versus Wilder as there was when it was supposed to be AJ versus Wilder, just because, again, the appetite for boxing is crazy right now. But it's not going to be Deontay Wilder. I would love it to be, but it's not. Risk reward, there's a lot of risk with Wilder, but there's also a lot of reward. Otto Wallin's the name that comes up a lot because he's a southpaw. We know who he is. Obviously, he fought Tyson Fury. Didn't look good here last time against Sokolowski, so that really has dropped his stock a little bit. And then there's Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is coming up a lot now. Sam Jones has been going back and forth with me a bit on social media about Joe Joyce. He thinks Joe Joyce beats AJ. I don't. I said no chance. And that was wrong. It's not no chance because he's clearly got a chance because Joe Joyce is probably a top 10 heavyweight. So he's clearly got a chance. We all know about his gas tank, his ability to take a punch, his own punch power. He's a big lump. Olympic silver medalist, could have been gold medalist. So look, the pedigree's there. I like the fight. I think it should happen. I mean, Joe Joyce mentioned, why don't we take it back to Nigeria? Let's not forget, Joe Joyce, I think his mum's Nigerian, AJ Nigerian. So look, it's a fight that will do well over there. It's a fight that I think will be fantastic for Africa, but I don't expect it to happen. So I don't want to get my hopes up of that kind of stuff. Regarding the fight itself, look, I'm not just saying this as an AJ fan because I can be brutally honest when it comes to AJ and who I think he beats and doesn't beat. AJ beats Joe Joyce for me. I'm very confident of it. Very, very confident. Movers will cause AJ a problem. People with fast hands will cause AJ a problem. AJ's got faster hands than Joe Joyce. He's a better mover than Joe Joyce. And he's as big and arguably more powerful than Joe Joyce. Like, I would put my money on AJ's right hand being a bit more powerful than Joe Joyce's right hand. Now, as much as Joe Joyce can take a punch, can he take a right hand from AJ clean? I mean, people will say he took one from Daniel Dubois. I'd argue that AJ's more powerful than Daniel Dubois. He took several from Carlos Takam. Like, his defense for me is non-existent. His defense right now is his chin. That will only last so long. I remember when Carl Froch used to dine on that as well, like, his chin being granite. We all saw it happen with George Groves. You can't rely on that forever. And I just feel like if it were to come to a boxing match, as much as Joe Joyce does have the amateur pedigree as well, AJ's a better boxer than Joe Joyce. Don't you dare tell me he's not. Don't you dare. I mean, Joe Joyce is not as fluid as AJ. I don't want to be disrespectful here, so I'm going to try and rein my words in, but he's not as fluid. We'll leave it as that. And if we're just talking about power, like just pure brute power, AJ's stronger as well. So everything that I think Joe Joyce is good at, I think AJ's better at. And whereas Joe Joyce has dined out on this powerful chin, which clearly has, you can't keep taking right hands like that. And I've always said, look, if he can take an AJ right hand clean, I'm talking the big right hand or the left hook or the uppercut, then obviously we have a problem. We have a big problem, but I don't think he can. I really don't think he can. And I think AJ will blast through him. I'm not joking. I actually think someone like a Joe Joyce is tailor-made for AJ. Tailor-made. And if I'm AJ, look, they've sparred a lot, so they know what goes on in sparring. If I'm AJ, I'd make that fight immediately. I'll make that fight. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. And this is the problem with boxing. Broadcasters, politics, managers, promoters. Obviously, he's on that side. He is in Joe Joyce with Frank Warren and Queensbury and BT. AJ's on this side of Eddie. Maybe DAZN or Sky Matchroom. So it's going to be difficult. Otto Wallin seems to be the easy option for an interim fight. And remember, again, this is what it is. It's an interim fight. Again, I say that, we don't know how long this situation with Usyk will last, but I think for me, when I spoke about AJ having an interim fight, I just was like, okay, stay busy. A stay busy fight. And maybe that's even disrespectful to Otto Wallin because Otto Wallin might be a top 20 heavyweight, but a stay busy fight, keep active. The idea of a Joe Joyce, that's not a stay busy fight. Joe Joyce and the Deontay Wilders of the world aren't stay busy fights. They're just fights. And look, that might have to be what it is. It might just be that. But let's see what's going to happen because, again, 100% he has an interim fight. Look, for me, this interim fight should be now. Like right now, he should be having a fight right now. Like we've known about the Usyk situation for a while now, and discussion should have been made. Okay, let's have an interim fight whilst we wait this out. Because I don't think AJ, if he gets through that interim fight, is going to fight Usyk until at least September. So now is the perfect time. And if it is going to be his new trainer, so I keep getting his name wrong, don't I? Angel Fernandez, then again, perfect. You've got that first full camp with Angel Fernandez before you go and tackle the monster that is Usyk. We'll see, man. We'll see. I did a little poll on my social media channels, and Deontay Wilder was a clear favourite for what people want. It wasn't even Joyce. It wasn't Andy Ruiz, which I think is a great fight. It was Joyce. But what I will say with regards to those options, AJ's got options. You know, when people think that it's just AJ versus Usyk or Tyson Fury or nothing, I think the response to the AJ Wilder and the AJ Joyce and the AJ Ruiz showed that there's still big fights out there for him. Still big fights, still stadium fights, if you know, that's what AJ kind of is. Still big pay-per-view fights, money-making fights. Like AJ Wilder is enormous right now. And that's with imagine that. See, this is the thing with fight fans. It's not always win. Look, we always want our fighters to win, the fighters that we support. But if we match the best with the best, and they're gonna lose. So there's no shame in AJ losing to Usyk, Wilder losing to Fury, and then AJ Wilder getting on. Still a huge fight. Ruiz is a huge fight, and obviously Joyce now sounds like a big fight as well. So look, whatever AJ does, I'm fully invested, as you guys know. Sometimes I wish I wasn't, but I am. So good luck to whatever he does. All right, let's see if there's any news here before we move on. Lee Wood warns Conlan, I'm coming to get the job done. Look good doing it. Really looking forward to that one. Really looking forward to how both of them look on the scales. Lee Wood, obviously a big featherweight. So let's see how he does. I think I'm doing some ringside stuff with Jordan Gill, which would be nice. Obviously, European champion. He'll look at this as well. Obviously, him and Lee Wood are good friends, but I mean, look, if Lee Wood loses, I mean, Jordan Gill won a piece of Conlan. That's a big fight, hard fight but that's kind of where his mindset should be. European champion should be thinking about world level fights now. Tyson Fury on Dillian White's purse. He's got to be very thankful to me. Should send me gifts. Tyson Fury starting the mind games. A bit here about Eddie Hearns, and I think Joshua's top choice to face in an interim fight is Deontay Wilder. This was very interesting. Probellum inking a deal with Eurosport, or Discovery Sports, I think it's called now. That's interesting. I don't even know if I have the Eurosport channel anymore. When I was a kid, Eurosport used to be really big. I was obviously a big tennis fan, big athletics fan, and it always used to be on Eurosport. I don't even know what Eurosport shows, but look, good luck to Probellum and putting stuff on there. I think I'm doing something with Probellum in a couple of weeks. We'll see if I'm allowed to. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's have a look here. What we got here? Charlo, I saw this. By the way, what's going on with the Charlo brothers? But anyway, that's another subject. Charlo on Crawford. Sit your ass down at 147. Humble yourself. Go and fight Spence. Obviously, this is Jamel Charlo talking. Terence Crawford has said that he wants to go up to 154 pounds. Look, you can't get a fight at 147. You can't blame him. And look, with the fight to be made at the time was Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor didn't look good, did he, against Jack Catterall? So that fight's lost a bit of fizz. We'll see if he can get the winner of Errol Spence, Yordenis Ugas. But surely he should be having a fight now as well, whilst waiting for what's the plan here? To fight the winner? Even if he does fight the winner, that's now not going to be until September, October. Is he not going to fight until then? Fucking hell, man. Well, looking forward to seeing this young girl fight. Shannon Ryan. I've been following her for a while. She's now managed by 258, obviously AJ's team. She makes her debut on, I think, the Richard Riakporhe card. Good luck to her. Again, we are seeing some really good female fighters come through now. I think in a couple of years' time, the levels and the depth as well. That's one thing that I don't think's there right now, the depth. You know, it's just not, is it? I mean, you can have 4 or 5 fights, and look at Sandy Ryan's a good example. 3 fights, she's got a full fight coming up on the weekend. Sandy Ryan will probably fight for a world title by the end of the year. In a couple of years' time, that won't be the case. In a couple of years' time, I think it's going to be... Think about it, there isn't even a British title. That's how the depth is not. There's no British title. Give it a couple of years' time, I think this depth is growing, and we are going to have English and British titles. Right now, these girls are literally coming out of the amateurs, having 3 or 4 fights, world titles, which is shows that the depth's just not there. Well done to Dan Aziz, inking a long-term promotional pact with Boxer. I think I mentioned that already. All right, guys, we are done. All right, peace and love.